1971, a man calling himself Dan Cooper boards a Northwest Orient Airlines Boeing 727 in Portland under calm yet mysterious circumstances. Less than 3 hours later, he swaggers off the plane, or so it seems, only to vanish into the night. He had just pulled off one of the boldest Skyjacker heists in US history and disappeared completely. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the strange disappearance of DB Cooper. A man, mid-40s, wearing a business suit and dark JC Penney tie, pays cash for a one-way ticket. He settles into seat 18C, orders a bourbon and soda, all seems ordinary. Around 3 p.m, he hands flight attendant Florence Schaffner a note. "Miss, I have a bomb in my briefcase." Her eyes go wide. She notices the red wires and electronic components in the attaché case. He demands $200,000 in $20 bills and 4 parachutes. Safe exit assured. At Seattle-Tacoma, a frantic scramble begins. Law enforcement arms themselves with 2 spares, 4 chutes arrive. Cooper releases 36 passengers in exchange, but he keeps the crew. The plane wheels away, bound for Mexico City, with a refueling stop in Reno. The FBI launches NORJAK, Northwest Hijacking, in mid-flight. Within days, the FBI compiles evidence. The cheap tie removed before parachuting provides DNA opportunities. 1 chute was instructional and sewn shut. He used 2 and left 2 unused. The canvas ransom bag was tied with parachute cord. They interrogate hundreds of suspects, over 800 leads by year 5. No conclusive match, only a few persons of interest. Fast forward to 1980. A small pack of $20 bills worth $5,800 washes ashore near Vancouver, Washington. Ransom serial numbers match. But what of the rest? No trace. Not one more bill enters circulation. In response, airlines install Cooper vanes to lock the aft stairs in flight. Metal detectors and baggage screenings begin the same year. A costly but lasting legacy. Despite searches in the Washougal watershed and forested routes, investigators find nothing. Many analysts conclude Cooper perished during the jump. Navigational errors, bad jump conditions, inadequate clothing and boots, and terrain that ate him whole. So who was the mysterious hijacker in seat 18C? The FBI followed every crumb. Let's dive into the most popular and bizarre theories about who DB Cooper might have been and what happened to him after the jump. This is the FBI's official position. DB Cooper perished somewhere in the wilderness of southwest Washington that night. Consider this, he jumped at night into freezing rain with no helmet. He wore a suit and loafers, not exactly skydiving attire. The terrain was dense woods, rivers, steep slopes, no obvious landing zones. He used a reserve chute that was non-functional, likely without his knowledge. Add to that, the money wasn't spent ever. That suggests it never left the forest floor. The stash found in 1980 may have been carried downstream, an eerie breadcrumb from a failed escape. But there's a problem. Despite exhaustive searches, no body, no parachute, no gear, nothing. Then there's the popular counter theory. DB Cooper survived and pulled off the perfect crime. Could he have planned his landing? Maybe he was ex-military, trained in parachuting and survival. Maybe he even had an extraction plan waiting near the drop zone. Let's talk suspects. In 1972, just 5 months after the Cooper hijacking, Richard McCoy, a Vietnam veteran and skydiver, hijacked a Boeing 727 in an almost identical fashion, demanded $500,000, jumped with a parachute, escaped mid-flight. The FBI caught him shortly after. McCoy always denied being Cooper, but many investigators suspected otherwise. Even his facial features bore a resemblance to Cooper's sketch. But McCoy was in Utah during the Cooper jump, and his family had alibis. In 1995, on his deathbed, Dwayne Webber allegedly told his wife, "I'm Dan Cooper." After his death, she searched his belongings and found a note. A Northwest Orient flight ticket stub. Notes scribbled in French, a 1971 knee injury, possibly from a hard parachute landing. She contacted the FBI. For years, Weber was considered a top suspect, but DNA from the tie didn't match, and no solid evidence tied him to the crime. Christensen was a former paratrooper and Northwest Orient Airlines employee. He even bore a resemblance to the composite sketch. After his death in 1994, family members claimed he had a stash of money and told them cryptic stories, but again, no physical proof. This theory suggests Cooper was familiar with Boeing 727s and Northwest flight routines. He knew the aft stair could be lowered mid-flight, the precise cruising altitude to open it safely, what to ask for in parachutes, even how to select a stormy night to minimise aerial surveillance. Could he have worked in aviation, a military insider, a rogue pilot? We may never know. Then there are the more speculative ideas. D.B. Cooper was a CIA asset, performing a covert operation that went rogue. He escaped to Mexico or South America, living under a new name. Some even suggest he was Canadian, drawing from the Dan Cooper comic series popular in French-speaking Canada. Cooper's alias matched the comic's hero, a paratrooper with wild adventures. Coincidence or subtle signature? Whoever he was, Cooper left a legacy few criminals ever achieve. In the public's eye, he wasn't a menace, but a folk hero. He didn't hurt anyone. He was polite, even apologetic to the flight crew. He drank bourbon, smoked cigarettes, and vanished like a legend from a noir novel. D.B. Cooper has inspired films like Without a Paddle, The Pursuit of D.B. Cooper, and even a shout-out in Loki, where Loki himself is revealed as Cooper. Songs, books, comic books, and at least a dozen documentaries. Annual CooperCon conventions still draw fans and amateur sleuths. He's the ultimate American mystery man, a gentleman outlaw who beat the system. In 2016, the FBI closed the case after 45 years. NORJAK was shelved. The official line, no new credible leads. But new clues and whistleblowers continue to surface, suggesting we haven't heard the last of Cooper just yet. What kind of person pulls off a crime like this and walks away forever? Well, he was methodical but calm. He wasn't greedy. $200,000 was a reasonable sum, even modest for a heist. He was prepared but not arrogant. He read people, controlled the crew without force. Some psychologists speculate he was ex-military, perhaps disillusioned, possibly terminally ill, or simply someone who wanted to vanish from society on his own terms. So, did D.B. Cooper die in the storm, money scattered to the rivers and trees, or did he survive, watching from afar as his myth grew, until a body is found, or the rest of the money surfaces? We may never know. The case of D.B. Cooper remains the only unsolved skyjacking in US history, and perhaps that's the way he wanted it. What do you think? Was D.B. Cooper a genius rogue who beat the odds, or just a desperate man who got lucky? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give us a like, subscribe for more mysteries, and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep your eyes on the sky and your bourbon neat.